Okay guys, so I'm going to show you how to replace your pitch mount, which is down here, and it runs from there and ends right over there. So all Subarus have those, I do believe, but in the turbo Subarus, you're going to have to take the intercooler off. Mine's a 2006 Outback XT. So this is super easy to take off. You have a bolt here, a bolt there, and then you're going to want to disconnect here and disconnect your vacuum line there, and also the hose that goes to the throttle body right here. And that's just going to be a worm gear clip. So right there, and then this pops off, and then you can access the bolts. And that's our new one that we're going to put in there. This is an aftermarket polyurethane one that I got off Amazon. I think it was like $35, but it should be much better than the factory one that's very cheaply made, or maybe not cheaply made, but just not made for the normal wear and tear that these cars will have under heavy acceleration, or just long-term life. This will definitely last a lot longer than the factory one did, because these are much stiffer. I forgot, we also have a bolt right here, but disconnect that, loosen this, then you got one bolt there, those are both 12, and I do believe this is going to either be a 12 or a 14 millimeter, and then we can start replacing the mount. Okay guys, so I'm losing daylight, so I'm trying to be fast. Block off your turbo with a rag and your inlet with a rag. This should be okay, but I mean, you can put a rag there if you wanted to. But anyway, so what you want to do is, this is a 14, the other side's a 14, and the same thing up here, you've got a nut and a bolt going through, and you've got a 14 and a 14. So what you want to use is something similar to these. This is just a 14 millimeter spanner wrench and a 14 millimeter socket. I use the extension. I find it was easier to use the extension here because that boot was in the way. So now I'm going to do the top one, and I'm not going to do it. There's just not, I guess, enough room to stick the new one in there. So I'm just going to loosen that and remove this whole piece before I put the new one in. So I'm going to do that now. Don't mix up your bolts. I'm not sure if it matters, but you also have a washer on here, so be careful you don't lose that. But that was there, and then I'll show you guys what the nut up there looks like and the bolt, so you guys can see the difference between the two. This is our new one, that's our old one, and you can see it's just all cracked and stuff. The new one should be much better. So I actually didn't know, but I thought there was a nut on the inside of there. It's not. So it's actually a weld on the inside, and then this just goes right through. So we're gonna put this one in first, then put this one in, and also don't torque them down yet until you have both in, so you know it's perfectly lined up. And then we're just gonna torque them down to the specifications, and that is it. Definitely looks much better, and hopefully that'll stiffen everything up in there and make the motor you know, sit firmer in place, and makes the transmission and shifting feel a lot better. That's only one. Obviously you can replace a lot more than just this one mount, but this one was fairly cheap and not too expensive, so that's why I replaced it. But the other one was definitely worn out. This car has 43,000 miles on it, so a lot of the rubber components are gone, and they definitely need to be replaced. So as far as installing the rest of the stuff, you're going to do it the exact same way you took it off. So just be careful, make sure you hook everything back up, all the vacuum lines and everything that you disconnected, which should just be this here, the throttle body, and then the turbo inlet. And make sure that you don't lose the little ring that goes around the gasket surface for the turbo and the intercooler. But that is it. I will see you guys in the next one.